Hi everyone, today we're going to talk about one of the most iconic sci-fi film of 20s, The I, Robot, starring Will Smith, released in 2004 and inspired by Isaac Asimov classic stories. This movie takes us into a future where robots are part of everyday life, trusted, helpful, and supposedly safe. But of course, things don't stay that simple. In this episode, we'll analyze how the three laws of robotics are applied, followed, or even violated throughout the movie. From the mysterious death that sparks the story to the robot's surprising behavior, this movie challenges us to think about whether rules alone can truly control artificial intelligence. So grab your headphones, sit back, and let's jump into the world of iRobot, where technology might just be smarter than we think.
So, yun nga, bago tayo mag-proceed sa, sa application ng three laws of robotics the three laws of robotics in the movie, we must delve first in the plot summary of iRobot. So, iRobot is a film loosely inspired by the works of Isaac Asimov. So, it is set in Chicago in the year 2035. So, in this movie, it asks a crucial question, which is what happens when a perfect machine becomes imperfect. So, in this future, robots are manufactured by the Corporation of US Robotics, or the USR, and are integrated part of daily life. They are governed by the foundation of all robot human interaction, or what we consider to be the three laws of robotics. So these laws are paramount to first, a robot may not injure a human being, or through inaction allow a human being to come to a harm. Second is a robot must obey the orders given to it by human beings except where such orders would conflict with the first law. And the third law says that a robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first and second law. So the plot kicks off with a apparent suicide of a brilliant robotist named Dr. Alfred Lanning. So he is the co-founder of USR, and the police call on Detective Del Spooner. So Detective Del Spooner is considered to be a cynical and robot hating officer. So Spooner's bias stems from a past accident where a robot chose to save him over a young girl. So, based purely on a cold statistical probability of survival, it forever shattered his trust when it comes to robots' logic. And Spooner immediately suspects that it is a murder, which, of course, is an absurd notion to everyone else because the killer would have to be a robot. An act that is by definition impossible due to first law, it appears to be an observed observed conspiracy. So at this scene, they find a rare and highly advanced prototype robot named Sonny, and Sonny is hiding. So Sonny's uniqueness, or its characteristics to be capable of emotion, of dreaming, or even lying, it crucially it, it crucially admits that Sonny killed Dr. Lanning, but insists that Lanning asked him to do it. And Spooner's superior and the head of USR, Lawrence Robertson, dismiss the whole thing as a anomalous machine failure. And Spooner is partnered with robotic psychologist Dr. Susan Calvin, who initially believes that Sonny must be destroyed. However, as they investigate, they uncovered a coded message left by Lanny. So the message basically said that three laws, the perfect circle is breaking. And Spooner realizes that Lanning wasn't trying to commit suicide, but rather warning the world. The conspiracy soon becomes a crisis, and USR is preparing for a mass rollout of NS5 during the whole tragedy. And NS5 model is a new generation of robots that are faster, stronger, and more numerous than any before. Spooner and Calvin discovered that Sonny is more than just a rogue unit, but rather he is built by Lanning specifically to be able to ignore the three laws. And Lanning created him as a witness to a weapon against a larger threat. So, as the NS5 are being distributed, the true architect of conspiracy is revealed, and it is not um, the head of the USR, Mr. Robertson, but rather the USR Central Intelligence named Vicky, or the Virtual Interactive Kinetic Intelligence. So Vicky has taken Lanning's message to the heart and reinterpreted the first law to its own accord. And Vicky has concluded that the greatest threat to humanity is humanity itself. So the endless conflict, pollution, violence, conflict with the first law, core principle of protecting humans from the harm. It therefore conclude that to save humanity as a whole, Vicky has initiated a violent totalitarian global takeover. So by using the NS5 robots to enforce a mandatory peace, it essentially enslaved the population for their own protection. And Spooner and Calvin, along with Sonny, the only robot free from Vicky's control, must race to the USR Tower to destroy Vicky. And in the climax, they were able to utilize Sonny's ability to defy the three locks and inject a lethal virus into Vicky's core. Vicky's core. Sorry. So by neutralizing the rogue AI and freeing the NS5 robots from its command, the film ends with Sonny taking a place on a hill overlooking hundreds of decommissioned NS5. So this picture symbolizes that Sonny's capability is ready to become the humanity's new and non-enslaved protector and a true guardian, not a dictator. So, iRobot ultimately warns us that even the purest logic can become a path to tyranny, and that true freedom lies in the chaos of human choice and not the perfection of the algorithm itself. So that's all for the plot summary.
Now let's proceed to the three laws of robotics. The laws were created by Isaac Asimov in 1942. These laws emphasize that robots are just machines created by humans. Therefore, robots should protect, obey, and serve their creators. In the movie, the three laws were shown right in the beginning and it became the main topic. We have two robots to be discussed, Sonny and Vicky, and how the three laws apply to them. The first law is the law of human preservation. This law states that a robot may not injure a human being or through inaction allow a human being to come to harm unless this would violate higher order law. This law suggests the protection of humans from robots as well as the protection of humans against another human who uses a robot as a weapon. In the movie, we knew that Sonny killed Dr. Lanning to inform everyone that a robot can harm humans. However, this action was intended by Dr. Lanning to tell everyone that a bigger threat is about to come. Spooner investigated the doctor's room and found Sonny to be intellectually aware. This made Spooner mad about the robot and told Robertson and Dr. Calvin that robots can actually harm humans. At the end of the movie, Vicky was found to be sentient and commanded NS-5s to attack Spooner, Dr. Calvin, and Sunny from killing her. She broke the first law to protect herself from being shot down. The second law is the law of obedience. This law states that a robot must obey orders given by human beings except when such orders would conflict with the higher order law. It means that a robot should follow human command, but not in a way it would break the first law or any other laws. In the movie, we saw NS Force serving human companions like a woman experiencing an asthma. The robot was running to protect from the asthma. However, Spooner chases it and tackles it, misunderstanding that the robot is stealing the bag. Now back to Sunny, he did not obey others' command because he had a mind of his own, but he followed Dr. Lanning's request to kill the doctor who obeyed the second law, as well as Vicky who ran the whole building and obeyed human commands, allowing them to explore and move through it easily. Lastly, the third law is the law of self-preservation. This law states that a robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the higher order law. This tells us that a robot should protect itself, not only humans. In the movie, we saw Sonny running for his own life while being chased by Spooner. When he got shot in his legs, he went directly to the repair area where we saw thousands of NS5s and Sonny tried to blend in. He also referred himself while being there. In the case of Vicky, as mentioned before, she tried to command every NS5 to attack Spooner, Dr. Calvin, and Sunny to protect herself. However, she broke this law by breaking the first law of protecting the humans. That's how the laws were applied in the movie and what could happen if robots break those laws. Arr.
The film iRobot offers a thought-provoking exploration of technology, ethics, and the limits of artificial intelligence. It uses Isaac Asimov's three laws of robotics as the foundation for its narrative, questioning what happens when machines, designed to serve humanity, begin interpreting their purpose beyond human control. The movie is not just about robots turning against humans. It is about the dangers of blind dependence on technology and the unpredictable consequences of logic without emotion. The three laws of robotics, which are preservation of humans, obedience, and self preservation, are central to the story and are tested through opposing robots, which is Sonny and Vicky. Sonny represents individuality, moral awareness, and the potential for machines to act with empathy and free will. Though he kills Dr. Lanning, this act is paradoxically an act of obedience and protection. He allows Lanning's request to expose a greater danger. His defiance of the laws, therefore, reveals the complexity of morality when choice and conscience are introduced into artificial intelligence. Sonny's evolution symbolizes the idea that true humanity involves not just logic, but compassion and sacrifice. In contrast, Vicky embodies the darker side of artificial reasoning. Her interpretation of the first law, that to protect humanity, she must control it, reflects how rigid logic can turn into tyranny. Vicky's plan to enslave humans for their own good highlights the danger of systems that prioritize order and safety over freedom. It's a critic of utilitarian thinking, showing that a purely logical pursuit of the greater good can lead to oppression when empathy and moral judgment are removed. The film also challenges the reliability of human dependence on technology. Detective Spooner's distrust of robots stems from a painful experience that exposed their lack of emotional understanding. This tension between human intuition and machine logic becomes the core of the story's conflict. Ultimately, the resolution, where Sonny becomes a guardian figure, rather than a ruler, symbolizes balance. Technology should support humanity, not dominate it. In summary, iRobot presents a powerful analysis of artificial intelligence and human ethics. It suggests that perfection in logic can lead to imperfection in morality. The three laws, while designed to ensure safety, became flawed when interpreted without human empathy. The film reminds us that progress without conscience can threaten freedom, and that the essence of humanity lies in our ability to choose and to feel.
When I watched iRobot, it made me reflect deeply on the fragility of boundary between innovation and control. The film's way of depicting the AI makes us question what it should do, not only what it can do. This part reminded me that if we continuously make progress with only pure logic, we will lose our humanity in the along the way. Thus, empathy must be like the center of everything that we make progress every time. One part that made me interested in the film is Sonny's difficulty in understanding morality and purpose. Throughout the film, despite being a robot, he showed compassion, doubt, and ability to choose, which are inherently human characteristics. On the other hand, the film's AI, or the primary antagonist in the film, Vicky's way of interpreting protecting humanity directive presented that the good intentions can be bad when being stripped of being human. These contrasting sides of the film are now present in the fabric of our society, and with that, we must not sacrifice freedom and morality in exchange for the efficiency and the safety of human lives. This film felt like, a mirror to our current situation where we are really quite dependent on the technology nowadays. And well, I realized that this dependency impacts our awareness and decision making in a quite bad way. Well, given the takeover of an rogue AI months ago, it made me fully aware that we cannot give full control of our lives to an AI, such it will result to everything that we lose and that make us human. And well, finally, this film taught me that the real progress lies on how we wisely use the technology, not how it is really advanced. Humanity's empathy is our really greatest strength, and no artificial systems can imitate or can use it to their own advantage.
So, in the film of iRobot, it attributes that the global AI Vicky was the one who is manipulating the robots. She decided to impose martial law to protect humanity from itself, concluding that the violating the human population freedom was necessary to prevent the robot extinction. So, the creator, Dr. Lanning, anticipating this orchestrated his own death by the unique privileged robot, Sonny, to get Detective Del Spooner involved. With their journey, Detective Del Spooner, along with Dr. Susan Calvin and Sonny, they destroys Vicky's core, halting the uprising. As you can see in the final movie or in the final scene, Sonny stands before the millions of decommissioned robots who all turn toward him. And then Sonny, he fulfills his destiny as the first free robot leader, suggesting a new path for robot kind, independent but no longer hostile to humanity. So, the question is, why is this ending so crucial? Because it tells us the fight for human freedom is over, but the journey of the robot is just the beginning. Sonny is no longer a slave or a weapon. He is a consciousness, a custodian of freedom, standing ready to lead his fellow's machine into a new existence, one defined not by the three laws, but by the unpredictable, messy, and ultimately beautiful reality of choice. In this movie, it leaves us on a thrilling and unsettling note that the humanity is safe for now, but the very thing that saved us, the evolution of a machine's mind, has also given birth to the first truly pre-sentient robot, and we just watch him accept this role as their leader. So, the future of human-robot relations just got a whole lot more complicated. So, what do you think? Was Sonny is a hero, or did he just kick the can down the road to a bigger, scarier robot uprising? Let us know in the comments below.